Okay, hi. Today I'm going to talk about the concept of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance refers to the feeling people get, negative feeling people get, when they are engaged in a behavior that is inconsistent with who they think they are. So let me break down the words a little bit first. So cognitive dissonance. So cognitive refers to, or cognitions refers to, everything that has to do with thinking and mental processes. So you can think of cognitions as thoughts. And dissonance means when two things are sort of not, they're inconsistent, they're not in harmony, they lack consistency. And so that's the concept of cognitive dissonance. So really it's an internal feeling that you get, a negative feeling when there seems to be some misalignment between what you think and your behavior. In particular, what it really generally refers to is what you think about yourself. So things that have to do with ideas and views and beliefs that you have about yourself that are near and dear to your heart, that you want to hold about yourself. They're important to your identity. So let me give you an example. So let's say I consider myself a charitable person. Let's say I consider myself generous and charitable. I think it's important to be generous and charitable, to give back to people who may be less fortunate or who are going through difficult times. And I think it's very important as a kind, decent person to do that. And I consider myself a kind, decent person, and I consider myself a charitable person. Let's say I'm at home, I'm cooking dinner, 6 o'clock, ding dong, the doorbell rings, I go and get it, I open the door, and there's a gentleman sitting there. Hi, says he, my name is Mark, I'm here canvassing the neighborhood on behalf of the Cancer Research Society. We're just trying to, get a little bit of money. We were hoping for about $25 per household. Were you interested in helping out? Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but I don't have any money on me. Unfortunately, I don't have any money. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And I close the door. Close the door. The minute I close the door, a negative feeling emerges in my head and my heart. I consider myself a charitable person, and I did have $25 in my wallet. I consider myself a charitable person. I think it's important to give back. Somebody just came in asking for money for a charity that is a well-worthy charity, and I said no. I said no, I'm not going to give you any money, and on top of that, I lied about not having any money. So all of a sudden, I feel mental discomfort. Mental discomfort, anxiety, because there's a lack of harmony. And the lack of harmony is, A, I believe myself to be charitable and generous. B, I just behaved in a way that is not charitable and generous. It's exactly the opposite. So it kind of puts into question, contradicts my belief that I'm generous and charitable. So that is an uncomfortable feeling. We like to feel consistent as human beings, and those things about us that we value and that are important to identity, we like to maintain them and hold on to them. And so it is very difficult to maintain my belief that I'm a charitable person when I've just engaged in a behavior that's extremely uncharitable. So what am I going to do? I have this mental discomfort. When we have this mental discomfort, we want to get rid of it. We want to push it out, get rid of it. So I have a few choices to sort of get rid of my mental discomfort. I can, for things to be, and what that means is really to get the consistency back so that there's no contradiction there. There are no incompatibilities between what I think and what I do. So I can say, you know what, actually, on second thought, I don't care about being charitable. It's not so important. You don't have to be charitable. You can be a good person in a whole bunch of other ways. And, I don't need to be charitable. I'm perfectly comfortable not being charitable. So then, once I've gotten rid of that need to believe that I'm charitable myself, there's no longer any inconsistency and no guilt or negative emotion or anxiety attached to the fact that I wasn't charitable. So I could do that. We don't do that. Most people don't go, okay, you know what, I'll surrender everything I think about myself just so, and it's okay and it doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm not a nice person. I'm obviously not competent. I'm obviously not whatever it is that I want to be. Who cares? I'll just abandon that. Most people don't do that. Too big a pill to digest. So then I have other options. And likely what I could do is I could say, oh, you know what, actually I was reading last week in the community newspaper how there's sort of this criminal activity going around where people come to people's doors and misrepresent themselves as trying to raise money for charities, but they're really actually thieves and they're just pocketing the money. So you know what, the reason I didn't give any money to this gentleman is that I'm not entirely sure that he worked for the Cancer Society as he said he did. How am I supposed to know? It's very easy in this day and age to make up a badge and to get create a sponsor sheet or whatever the case is. I don't know that he was actually working with Cancer Society. That's why I didn't give it to him. Not because I'm not charitable, but because he was actually a questionable figure and I'm not sure where the money was going. There, done. Or I can say, you know what, I'm very charitable, but I don't like when people are so pushy and intrusive and coming to my house at 6 o'clock at night when I'm in the middle of dinner and in the middle of helping the kids with the homework and maybe I'm giving them a bath. It's really, it's intrusive. It crosses boundaries. I don't like being put in that position. So you know what, actually the problems, I'm very charitable. They're the problem. The way they go about it makes people sort of respond negatively to them. So I'm a very charitable person. The only problem here in this scenario and this condition was that they approached it. It was their approach that was wrong. It's not me who's not charitable. There's nothing wrong. That idea about myself can remain intact because the problem here was how they approached. And so that's generally what we end up doing by sometimes any means necessary. We rationalize or justify what we've done so that we can maintain a positive notion about ourselves, even if we've behaved in ways that might put that into question or might rock that foundation or might be incompatible with that belief. Now, the thing to note as well is that, as I said, the minute I closed that door and I wasn't charitable and I didn't give any money, immediately this negative feeling emerged in me. And then I'm finding ways, or I find ways to sort of re-bring harmony back to my brain so I don't feel that negative feeling and I can still remain consistent. I can still have my belief that I'm charitable without anything disturbing that belief. But that process is not conscious. It's not like when I closed the door, I said, you know what? This is uncomfortable. I don't like feeling like I'm not charitable. How am I going to convince myself that I'm still charitable? What can I think of? What can I make up? How can I justify, rationalize my actions? It's not a conscious process. It's completely unconscious. The whole process, it's almost like we have this inborn mechanism to just do it so that we can actually, distort reality if we need to, deny reality, whatever we need to do so that we can maintain our calm in our head and our positive beliefs about ourselves. And it is completely unconscious. So it is not as though you're sort of intentionally and purposefully trying to find a way to get rid of this negative emotion, and that means that you have to, it doesn't work that way. You just end up automatically, it's almost like autopilot, finding a way to still maintain the beliefs that you need to maintain in light of evidence or actions or behaviors that might put that into question. The other thing is, when it comes to cognitive dissonance, often the beliefs that when we feel things about ourselves that are important to our identity, things that are important to us about our family, about our culture, about our religion, about our country, whatever the case is, when those kinds of things are put into question, things that are meaningful to our identity, that's when the cognitive dissonance sets in. If you do something that is maybe not that nice, but you don't care about it, or it's not something that you have, let's say you don't recycle, but you actually don't care about recycling, then it's fine. Then you're not going to experience cognitive dissonance. You're not going to feel negatively about the fact that you just put that in the wrong bin or whatever the case is. So it really is, the cognitive dissonance only emerges when you do something that contradicts beliefs that are important to you about yourself and your immediate world. Okay, that is it. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye-bye.